huge question. You know, a lot of these meat facilities are located in rural communities where if 500 workers don't show up on the job, there's not this easy pool of the next 500 workers to bring in. And again, I just can't overstate, this is an experiment happening in real time. So, you know, President Trump put forward an executive order basically forcing these plants to stay open. A big meat-producing state like Iowa has said that if you don't show up for the job, you might not be able to get unemployment benefits. What all this is saying is there's going to be a lot of pressure on these workers to show up. We've heard that a lot of them don't want to show up, and it's just a huge open question what's going to happen if they refuse to go to work en masse.
What are all the unions saying?
Well, I think it's fair to say the unions are outraged. The unions feel that what's happening now is not that kind of accommodation I talked about earlier. They're not trying to really socially distance people from each other. They're not trying to reconfigure the lines. They're just forcing these people to go back to work regardless of the very extreme danger to their health from this virus. So they are extremely upset. But we have to point out, you know, I wrote a history of the meat industry. This business has been working to reduce the percentage of organized labor in their plants for decades, and they've been quite successful. So a lot of these employees aren't in a union. They might even speak broken English and don't have a lot of power to bargain back if they're told to go back to work.
Christopher Leonard, investigative journalist covering the meat processing industry. That book, The Meat Racket, Secret Takeover of America's Food Business.
Good news if you're dead, your stimulus check may be on the way. Bad news if you're alive, it may not be when we come back.
This is Chris, Jack, and Audrey Dolan of the Dolan Law Firm.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Dad, what makes you think that you can say you're the best personal injury law firm?
Well, Audrey, the Dolan Law Firm has been designated as the best personal injury law firm in San Francisco by the Examiner and the Weekly, amongst the best personal injury law firms in the nation by U.S. News & World Report, and I was chosen as one of the top personal injury lawyers in all of California by the Daily Journal. I can say confidently, the Dolan Law Firm, we're the best lawyers we hope you'll never need. DolanLawFirm.com.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's you, Jamie. Don't hang up. You need to hear this. You gotta quit wearing that aviator jacket. Nobody's buying it. I'm sorry you have to hear it from me, but at Progressive, we're all about giving it to people straight. That's why we show our rates alongside our competitors' rates. And when you're helping people find great rates, you don't need some jacket to look cool. Just keep rocking that scarf.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparisons not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Life has changed almost overnight.
Yeah, you have a lot of questions. We are going to try to get you some answers. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Charles Feldman. Together, we host Coronavirus Daily, a podcast designed to help us all get through this crisis together.
We go around the world and talk to some of the top experts out there. So think of this as a guide for you and your family. Multiple ways to listen: radio.com, the radio.com app, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher.
Remember, that's Coronavirus Daily.
Doctor's Log, Hell Date 2020. It's 7 a.m. I just ended my shift in the emergency room, and now I am headed out. I grew up watching Star Trek reruns as a kid, and in the intro to Star Trek, they have this description of their mission, which is to go where no man has gone before. Right now, health and medical industries are on that kind of mission, and it really feels like my colleagues and I are embarking on this new journey as we stand on the front lines of the COVID crisis. We keep saying to each other, we've never done this before. We've never seen anything like this on this scale before. And so I wanted to capture some of this journey. So I'm starting my own Captain's Log. I'll be documenting my personal experiences and thoughts as this pandemic unfolds around us. I'm Esther Chu, MD, and this is my Doctor's Log. Go subscribe on radio.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
During these unprecedented times, VTA is committed to operating bus and light rail services to meet your essential transportation needs.
For your safety, we have temporarily suspended fare collection, and for bus riders, we're directing you to board through the rear doors.
We're disinfecting our trains and buses throughout the day, and while riding, always practice social distancing.
From our VTA family to yours, stay safe.
We're going to get through this together.
Doctor's Log, Hell Date 2020. Right now, health and medical industries are feeling the pressure of the COVID-19 outbreak. Doctors are feeling that pressure. Nurses are feeling that pressure. I'm definitely feeling that pressure. And so I wanted to capture some of this journey. It's a log of this scary adventure we're all on together. I'm Esther Chu, MD, and this is my Doctor's Log. Go subscribe on radio.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
So you just tuned in. Did you miss something? Came in the middle of a sentence? Or a show? That's unfortunate. That's why there's radio.com Rewind. Talk about convenient. You can rewind this station up to 24 hours back. No matter what you missed, it's still there. Just go to the bottom of your screen and click the rewind button. Then pick the hour you want and you're instantly there. Listen to what you want when you want with radio.com Rewind. Radio.com Rewind.
Let's get to traffic, then back to In Depth. Here's Tom Tran.
Southbound side of the 605 has been a mess for many, many hours now because of an earlier crash down near Telegraph Road involving a tractor-trailer that lost the trailer and flipped over onto another vehicle. The slowing starts back at Washington Boulevard on the southbound side. The northbound side backs up at the 105, and the eastbound 105 slows just trying to get to those 605. It's going to be a while before they reopen those lanes. Number 3, 4, and 5 lanes were shut down for quite some time. Let's check in with Brian Douglas, who's taking a look at the 101.
So working an injury crash affecting your drive, and this is the 101 out of the East LA interchange. So northbound, as you come up to the 10 San Bernardino freeway, you're going to see delays here. Your southbound side, definitely an attention getter. You've got some slowing southbound on the 101 out of downtown. Tom?
Northbound side of the 710, we've got slowing trying to get into East LA. The backup starts at Atlantic Bandini up towards the 5, and the San Bernardino freeway a little slow going west, just about Fremont Avenue over to the 710. Your next report, 225. More traffic reports more often. Tom Tran, KNX 1070 News Radio.
You're listening to KNX In Depth with Mike Simpson. I'm Charles Feldman.
Plenty of Americans have received their stimulus payment, the $1,200. Plenty, though, have not. The checks are direct deposits. In many cases, the only assistance people are getting during this coronavirus lockdown.
The problems with the stimulus payments have ranged from bad info at the IRS to complications for people receiving Social Security benefits. Stephen Tosher is a tax attorney at the LA-based law firm of Hochman, Salkin, Tosher, and Perez. Stephen, congratulations. That definitely sounds like a law firm.
It is.
Definitely sounds like one. So some people who are dead apparently have gotten their checks, while many people who are living have not. Some people may find that, I don't know, odd. How do you account for that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't actually find it odd. The government's database runs not in real time, and the government may not know that somebody has died in the last 6 months, 8 months, or even the last year. It's just not something which is updated. And I think in an effort to get out checks as expeditiously as possible, the government has to rely on its most accurate database and to get them out. So I think it's probably attributable to erring on the side of getting the payments out quicker to people who need it.
Well, kind of just falls in line with all the other troubles that we're seeing with this, but I guess some of it is to be expected. But for people who have not gotten their check yet, there's a direct deposit crowd, and some of those went to the wrong bank accounts. But if you're waiting on a check, how do you see if it is actually in the mail and headed to you?
Right. Well, I think one thing to do, the government put up very quickly I think it's called Check My Payment portal, and you can get on there. It's not perfect, but a lot of people have been able to access it. From what I've been told, maybe 100 million people have been able to check, and through that same portal, 9 million people have been able to provide information, the direct deposit information, which allows the government to pretty much immediately get the money to the person. The problem here is we live in both a paper world and a digital world, and we're transitioning to the digital world, but not everybody is on the digital world. The government has limited ability. How many checks can they print through Treasury a week? I'm not sure of the number, but it's not what they could do digitally, and that in part accounts for why things aren't as fast as maybe we would all like them. But according to my information, as of Monday, the government got out 122 million payments, or almost $207 billion. That's pretty good in my mind. Not perfect, but pretty good.
Since apparently nobody is actually at home answering phones at the IRS, at least that's what we keep hearing, how do people appeal all this if they think they either didn't get the money or they get the check and it's not the right amount, or they're
the IRS's number one priority, giving money back, which is odd because normally it's collected.
Stephen Tosher, tax attorney, LA-based, Hochman, Salkin, Tosher, and Perez. Stephen, thanks.
And when we come back, one LA business owner challenging the definition of essential to keep her doors open.
Back in a minute.
You can tell when something just sounds wrong. Like when you go to the mechanic and hear this.
Pass me the torque wrench. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
Or when you get a TV installed and hear this.
I don't think I'm going to be able to do this without a 40-ton wrecking ball.
Yeah, that sounds all kinds of wrong. And you know what else sounds really wrong? That the interest you're earning on savings with the largest banks isn't earning you much at all. Especially when you consider that with a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, your money could be earning much more interest, which sounds like this. But hey, if somehow that doesn't sound right to you, well, at the very least, I have a mechanic I can recommend. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
This is KNX In Depth. Mike Simpson and Charles Feldman.
Natalie Mashali has kept her downtown LA smoke shop on 6th Street open throughout the coronavirus quarantine, and she's paid the price for it. She was one of the very first business owners criminally charged with ignoring the city's shelter-in-place order.
But she's undeterred, and after keeping the doors to her shop closed for a few weeks, she's back open for business again, and Natalie Mashali joins us here on In Depth. So, Natalie, I guess to summarize what you've been saying is that it's not just a smoke shop. We sell other things. What else do you have there that makes you an essential business?
So we have over 200 square feet of cereals, soups, snacks, whole stand-up ice cream cooler with pint ice creams, beverages, waters, gallons of water, toilet paper, cleaning products. And so, when police would stop by, we would kind of show them this and explain to them we also have the right permits from the county to consider us a food market retailer. But they weren't hearing it.
And what's their argument?
Well, first, when LAPD came by, their argument was that it's based on the mayor's orders. They don't care about the county. They don't care what sort of health permits we have. The mayor's enforcing, only these businesses stay open, and they kept dropping off the safe-at-home orders. That's all they would drop off. The sergeant came by, threatened, to even arrest employees and make crime reports, etc. And I read the paragraph with him where, based on the mayor's orders, we're completely in compliance. We're completely within guidelines. And I read the paragraph to him where it said grocery or non-grocery that sells, these products are essential. At first, he didn't even know I had those products because he didn't walk all the way into the store. And then when he found out I do have them, he was saying, you just threw them up, or, the issue is that you sell other products as well.
Okay, how much were you fined, and what's the threat hanging over you now?
Well, we have the criminal charges that we have to deal with in court. We have arraignment in July, and we haven't been fined with anything yet until we're there, but I'm sure we're going to have to deal with that when the time comes.
And you are ready for another stop by from any kind of authorities? You said you have your food permit, so you got that from the county, and you're just prepared to show that to them?
Yeah, the funny thing is that when my attorney reached out to the city attorney, they told them that it's not about the city, it's about the county. And he's like, but, LAPD was enforcing the city the whole time. We have county approval, but, it was already too far gone. They've already filed charges, and I think they're just kind of doing wild, wild west out there and not really finding out what they're really enforcing.
Natalie, I'm just curious, what percentage would you say your business is devoted to food products and other grocery items compared to tobacco products?
So we have over 1,000 square feet in general at, let's say, one location. And I would say maybe 200 to 300 square feet is food related. But our store is huge.
But what percentage of sales?
I mean, overall, it still is a smoke shop.
Right. I mean, what percentage of your business is devoted to tobacco sales versus food and other items?
I would say that we sell roughly 30% is regarding food, and the rest is other products. But we are high volume and a lot of foot traffic, and at night, we're really the only option for people to come in and pick up food and beverages and snacks. I mean, we still sell a lot.
Wait, so I just want to be clear on this. So are you saying 30% is food and what, 70% would be tobacco?
Not just tobacco. We have a lot of other products. I mean, we have, CBD products. We have body washes, CBD body washes. We have glassware, hookahs. We have a lot of other things.
So when someone says, though, and here's where I think some of the criticism comes in, is, okay, most of your business, the vast majority, is not meant to be and is not a grocery store, but you do have maybe 30% of your profits come from that. Your answer is what? People still come and get these things that they need in a very essential way?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of people, when we were closed for a few weeks, send us emails, send us numerous messages. I mean, flooded with emails and calls and messages about, in the middle of the night, we can't go to Ralph's. We can't go to other places. This is what we relied on to come in, get some drinks, get some food, and not have to really come in contact with a lot of other people. Not to mention a lot of the homeless population and other people would come and get toilet paper by the roll, and it's not an option for them to go to Ralph's. We're open till 3:00 in the morning, so it's convenient for them. And I was making that argument of other stores like Walmart. Huge percentage is not food. I mean, majority of it is not, but it still doesn't make them non-essential because they sell other non-essential items.
Natalie Mashali, downtown LA smoke shop there on 6th Street, trying to keep her doors open. Natalie, thanks. This has been KNX In Depth. Get that podcast on the radio.com app. We will be back tomorrow, 1:30.
This is Chris, Jack, and Audrey Dolan of the Dolan Law Firm.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Dad, what makes you think that you can say you're the best personal injury law firm?
Well, Audrey, the Dolan Law Firm has been designated as the best personal injury law firm in San Francisco by the Examiner and the Weekly, amongst the best personal injury law firms in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, and I was chosen as one of the top personal injury lawyers in all of California by the Daily Journal. I can say confidently, the Dolan Law Firm, we're the best lawyers we hope you'll never need. DolanLawFirm.com.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. You'll proudly mow the lawn. Ask if anybody noticed you mowed the lawn. Tell people to stay off the lawn. Compare it to your neighbor's lawn. And complain about having to mow the lawn again. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance, which, of course, will go right into the lawn. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Did you know you can actually pause and rewind live radio? Yeah, that's a thing. It's radio.com Rewind. Here's how it works. If you're listening to this station and you missed something, it's easy to go back in time. Just go to the bottom of your screen and slide up the rewind banner. Scroll to the left to go back to previous hours. Just pick the purple card for the hour you want and press play. Simple. Pick any hour in the last 24. Make missing important news a distant memory. Listen to what you want when you want with radio.com Rewind.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. During these challenging times, our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. If you think that now is the right time to refinance your mortgage, our home loan experts are available to help 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Woke up late and missed dialing into the professor's lecture? Not rewindable. Whatever. 20 minutes late dialing into the important conference call? Oops. Not rewindable. The station you're listening to now on radio.com? Very rewindable. Radio.com Rewind lets you rewind this station up to 24 hours back. You won't miss anything ever again. Or at least on radio.com. Just go to the bottom of your screen and click the rewind button. Listen to what you want when you want with radio.com Rewind.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm a dad and I make podcasts. It's my job. But right now, things are pretty weird. Many of us are working from home and schools around the world are closed. And that means we all need something to do while we're sitting inside. So we're asking kids everywhere the same question. If you could make a podcast about anything you wanted, what would you make? And we're turning the submissions into a brand new show. It's called The Kids Are All Home.
I like to call this Pantry Investigations.
Welcome to History Twins.
I'm Wilder. This is my sister Rosie. Say hi, Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
So pause that movie you're watching for the 5th time in a row, put down that third snack you just snuck out of the pantry, and subscribe to The Kids Are All Home on radio.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Pop 30.
It's all about the Jonas Brothers. They just released the second part of their documentary from last year, Happiness Begins. The new documentary is called Happiness Continues and is now available to stream on Amazon Prime. Joe Jonas started his own show on Quibi. He said, "I've toured the world with my brothers playing in every major city, but I've never had the time to explore any of them." So in each episode, Joe explores a city with a celebrity friend or two, and each episode is less than 10 minutes. I'm a sucker for a good reality show. I'm Shaylee, and that's your Pop 30.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good afternoon, I'm Chris Sedens.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 2:30. In-depth team coverage of the pandemic. Coronavirus has claimed 1,056 lives in LA County. That's a jump of more than 50 from just yesterday. Hospitalizations are up as well. Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says she agrees with Governor Newsom's concerns that loosening restrictions too soon could erase all the gains we've made against the virus.
As you open trails, as you think that there's more ability for people to be outside, it's on all of us to sort of keep our distance, because the governor's right. If we fail and we reopen as we need to, and we're not able to do a really good job on the physical distancing, a really good job on infection control, a really good job on testing and tracing contacts and isolating and quarantine, we will see a spike.
More than 22,400 people have tested positive for coronavirus in the county.
The state's unemployment system is being slammed by an onslaught of people suddenly out of work. Governor Newsom says California is processing claims as fast as it can.
They have distributed over $6 billion of benefits, $1.2 billion just yesterday. Just in a 24-hour period, they were able to distribute $1.2 billion. We saw, not surprisingly, a spike in applications yesterday.
Newsom says the state is making progress trying to keep up with the overwhelming demand, but more needs to be done. The governor announced a new program linking farmers and ranchers in California who have excesses of food, with so many restaurants shut down to food banks, which have been seeing a big spike in demand. He says the goal is to supply more than 20 million pounds of food every month.
A first-in-the-nation plan in California to deliver meals to vulnerable seniors during the pandemic is in trouble. The Associated Press is reporting the plan announced by Governor Newsom just days ago could run out of money soon. FEMA says it will only fund the program through May 10th unless the state is granted an extension. It's not clear how many cities and counties would be delivering meals by the time the funds run out. The state says it will be reviewing the program before seeking an extension.
A taxpayers group has sued Governor Newsom, trying to prevent him from doling out millions of dollars of pandemic relief fund money to people who are in this country illegally.
We're talking about $75 million. The lawsuit was filed by Judicial Watch on behalf of two taxpayers who are asking a judge to stop the payments. The plaintiffs claim it's an illegal expenditure of taxpayer money, and they want a permanent injunction preventing any taxpayer money from being made available to, quote, unlawfully present aliens. Robert Patrick Sticht is senior counsel for Judicial Watch.
It violates federal law to just take taxpayer money out of the general fund and hand it out to undocumented immigrants in California.
He says Newsom's plan would provide undocumented immigrants with a one-time cash payment of $500. There's a cap of $1,000 per household. The plaintiffs say the money would otherwise start going out in May, and that roughly 40,000 of the recipients live in L.A. County. John Baird, KNX 1070 News Radio.
What appears to be a significant breakthrough in the battle against the coronavirus, a drug that's proven to be effective at blocking it.
The Gilead company drug remdesivir, in the first large-scale clinical trial that included a control group, patients given a placebo, has shown that it can reduce the number of deaths and apparently is more effective if given earlier in the disease process, which is the case with many drugs.
This is very optimistic. The mortality rate trended towards being better in the sense of less deaths in the remdesivir group.
White House Health Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci.
The reason why we're making the announcement now is something that I believe people don't fully appreciate. Whenever you have clear-cut evidence that a drug works, you have an ethical obligation to immediately let the people who are in the placebo group know so that they could have access. And all of the other trials that are taking place now have a new standard of care.
In Dr. Fauci's words, this development is highly significant. Charles Feldman, KNX 1070.
A reminder for breaking news push alerts on the coronavirus pandemic, plus up-to-the-minute news on the crisis. Download the radio.com app, favorite KNX. We're everywhere that you are, including your smart speaker, by saying, Alexa, play KNX 1070. And, of course, on the radio, 1070 AM.
We're already learning lessons from this pandemic. Details after traffic. It's 2:35.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Here is Tom Tran.
We have had an absolute mess on the southbound side of the 605 through Santa Fe Springs because of a crash down near Telegraph Road involving a tractor-trailer that lost the trailer, and that trailer fell on another vehicle. So the slowing starts back at Washington Boulevard. The right lanes, 2 lanes, the number 4 and 5 lanes, have been shut down for many hours now. The northbound side of the 605 also jams up back at the 105, and they kind of meet in the middle near the Santa Ana Freeway. Let's check in with Brian Douglas. He's taking a look at the 405.
Our northbound side, right before you get to Devonshire. Thank you for all the tipster calls. This is a 4-car crash. You've got at least the right lane blocked here, and I do see delays now starting to build. So your north 405, you're going to see those brake lights starting at Roscoe Boulevard. Tom?
Northbound side of the northbound 5 of the Golden State Freeway near Glendale Boulevard. We've got a car fire being reported over here. A vehicle off of the side of the road. CHP looks like they may be issuing a SIG alert for this momentarily for an hour to block the number 4 lane while emergency crews get in there to clean things up. But the northbound side of the 5 jams up back at the Glendale Freeway. Your next report, 2:45. More traffic reports more often. Tom Tran, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Southern California weather forecast. We're looking at partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Highs upper 60s along the coast, upper 70s inland, getting into the mid-80s in the valleys. Mostly cloudy tonight with overnight lows 50s and 60s. And then tomorrow, sunny, little warmer along the coast. Beach highs in the mid-70s. Other than that, inland areas and valley areas tomorrow, much the same as today. We'll look further ahead. I'll tell you how the rest of the week is shaping up weather-wise. Your exclusive 5-day weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes at 2:45. Some temperatures right now. Ventura, we've got 63 degrees. Let's see here. We've got Santa Monica, cloudy and 65. Currently, it is 76 degrees, fair skies. Downtown Los Angeles at 2:37.
What went wrong and what have we learned from this pandemic?
Global preparedness experts said during USC's Dorn's Dive Web Talk, a lack of follow-through with the 2014 U.S. pandemic planning and federal leadership failures exacerbated the crisis in the U.S. USC's Andrew Lakoff is a leading researcher on global health and biosecurity preparedness.
And those are all the steps that were not taken. Make sure that your diagnostic testing system is in place. Make sure that you've got enough protective health equipment for workers. Designate a single expert who will be in charge of crisis communications. So we have to ask, where are those plans? Why weren't those implemented? And I think it gets back to governmental competence, and that may be the thing that people will demand after this more than anything else.
Panelists agreed some other issues making the crisis worse in the U.S. is the public's lack of trust of the government and the administration's lack of trust in their own experts. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 70 News Radio.
Federal labor investigators have ordered Anaheim-based Discount Tire Centers to pay an employee more than $2,600 in back wages for denying him sick leave when he was on mandated self-quarantine. The man's doctor told him to stay at home while waiting for the results of a family member's coronavirus test. He says he told his boss about the recently passed Federal Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act, but his request for paid leave was denied. His employer says he mistakenly believed workers had to submit proof of a positive coronavirus test to qualify. There's also the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, passed on April 1st, that gives businesses with fewer than 500 employees tax credits to provide employees with paid leave, either for the employee's own health needs or to care for family members.
As coronavirus cases continue to increase, the City of LA's logistical chain is now working to provide vital protective equipment to hospitals and other healthcare providers in the next few weeks.
The chief logistics officer for LA, Gene Soroka, says the first 100,000 N95 masks should be here before the end of May, and the beauty of the 2-year contract with Honeywell for $24 million more lies not just in the made in the USA factor. Rather, it provides stability and certainty of delivery for those needing the supplies.
Yeah, we're working very closely with the hospital companies, both public and private, and we'll make sure that we can piggyback on their strong infrastructure of last-mile trucking capabilities.
Soroka says he and others are now scouting the world for other supplies, surgical and patient gowns, thermometers, anything that can be useful in fighting the pandemic. And with LA Logistics Victory acting as a stockpile for such items, vetted customers will be able to get what they need to protect first responders and patients for as long as necessary. At the Port of L.A., Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The L.A. Clippers teaming up with a local artist on a limited edition merchandise with the sales benefiting the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles. That's a nonprofit to help those in need during the coronavirus pandemic. This partnership with Mr. Cartoon features his signature Old English font on a hooded sweatshirt and 2 T-shirts. You can find these items on the Clippers team website. Clippers are just one of a handful of Southern California sports teams taking part in the Teams for LA initiative, in which they're selling merchandise to help those impacted by COVID-19.
The NCAA today approved recommendations to allow some student athletes to be paid.
If the NCAA pursues their current timeline, member schools will not even vote on their student athletes being able to accept money from endorsements or other uses of their likeness until next January. UCLA alum Ramoji Huma is the executive director of the National College Players Association. He calls that
really unacceptable. We've actually called on the NCAA a couple weeks ago to enact urgent emergency reform and waivers to allow college athletes right now to have these freedoms, as well as being able to receive just basic living necessities. If a college athlete was hungry or didn't have a place to stay, anyone offering that college athlete food or shelter will put that player in violation of NCAA rules.
Huma says the NCAA is taking too long to do something that some state legislatures have already decided will happen, although California's new laws do not take effect on this issue for 3 more years. Randy Cardoon, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Have a medical question about the coronavirus lingering in your mind? A doctor will be on at 4:15 to answer it. Get your questions in, though, to coronaquestions at knx1070.com. And there's a big problem on the 605 because of a SIG alert. We're updating that and more at 2:45. It's 2:41.
This is Chris, Jack, and Audrey Dolan of the Dolan Law Firm.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Dad, what makes you think that you can say you're the best personal injury law firm?
Well, Audrey, the Dolan Law Firm has been designated as the best personal injury law firm in San Francisco by the Examiner and the Weekly, amongst the best personal injury law firms in the nation by U.S. News & World Report, and I was chosen as one of the top personal injury lawyers in all of California by the Daily Journal. I can say confidently, the Dolan Law Firm, we're the best lawyers we hope you'll never need. DolanLawFirm.com.
Flo here with a really weird word, buttery. Buttery? It's not quite butter, it's more butterish. Or maybe buttery is like butchery or bakery, a shop that sells artisanal butter products. Dig in, America. Now a word that's even more weird, Flotection. Sure, it's not really a word, but it is really good protection for your new home through me and Progressive. No ifs, ands, or butteries about it. Sorry.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm a dad and I make podcasts. But right now, things are pretty weird. Most of us are working from home, schools all over the world are closed, so we're asking kids everywhere to send us their best podcast ideas, and we're turning the submissions into a brand new show. It's called The Kids Are All Home.
I like to call this Pantry Investigations.
Say hi, Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
Subscribe to The Kids Are All Home on radio.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Boy, things have gotten really weird.
Yeah, it almost seems like every day you don't know what to expect. So we are going to try and help get you through it.
I'm Charles Feldman.
And I'm Mike Simpson, and we're the hosts of the new podcast, Coronavirus Daily. We bring in some of the top experts all around the world to ask the questions that you have.
Because we are all in this together, and you know what? We are all going to survive this together.
Again, Coronavirus Daily on the radio.com app, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher.
This week in music.
Sadly, falling in reverse guitarist Derek Jones has died at the age of 35. The Hella Mega Tour featuring Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer has officially been postponed until 2021. Fans can now buy a bat-biting themed Ozzy Osbourne shirt and face mask combo at his website. Now just sit back and wait for offended people to start posting. And Slipknot's Corey Taylor says he and his wife are launching a plant-based taco truck.
And that's This Week in Music.
I've always wanted to learn another language, but every time I try, it never sticks. So I decided to give Babbel a try, and I really like the teaching method of the app. I started with the beginner lesson on Babbel, and it starts with simple words and phrases. And soon, you're putting those words into a conversation. Each lesson takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're all really different, which keeps things interesting. The app is really smart. It actually keeps track of the words I'm struggling with, so I can practice them and get better. I chose Babbel because it was created by real language teachers. They built it around real life, how people actually communicate, and what they care about. I can't wait to use my new language skills in the real world. Dos cervezas, por favor.
With Babbel, get conversational in Spanish, French, German, and more. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Seatons.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up.
I'm Craig Figner reporting. More than 1,200 nonprofit groups send a letter to Governor Newsom signed by 40 lawmakers. They say they've had trouble getting help from him about funding in the wake of the coronavirus crisis.
L.A. County sees more than 4 dozen new coronavirus deaths. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. 2 out of 3 isn't bad when it comes to a virus drug. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
These stories and more in the next 15 minutes. Right now it is 2:45. We get the freeways again. Your traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Here is Tom Tran.
We've got a pretty major problem on the southbound side of the 605 that's been here for many hours now. A tractor trailer lost its trailer, and that trailer fell on a vehicle in the number 4 and 5 lanes. The driver, luckily, was pulled out of the vehicle. No word on injuries, but the slowing starts back at Washington Boulevard. The trailer is still on its side. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere for a little while. The northbound side also backed up at Imperial Highway, and they kind of meet in the middle right near Telegraph Road. Let's check in with Brian Douglas, who's taking a look at the 5 freeway.
R5, our Golden State. This is where we've got a SIG alert. This is looks like a car fire here. This is going to be our right lane taken away, northbound side, right at Glendale Boulevard. So watch out for big delays. Already starting to build. I'm watching this backup build quickly now. From the 2, Glendale Freeway, it's going to be slow for you. Southbound caught your attention. You're slow now from Los Feliz.
Northbound side of the 405 still jammed up through the valley. The backup starts at Sherman Way all the way up towards Devonshire because of a pretty serious crash. You can exit off the freeway, use Woodley or Sepulveda Boulevard as an alternate. Your next report's 2:55. More traffic reports more often. Tom Tran, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Increasing high clouds overhead this afternoon. It's what we call hazy sunshine as this high pressure system begins to break down and move off to the east. We'll have that afternoon sea breeze picking up, and we'll probably see some increased breezes over the Antelope Valley. High desert communities, you're still under this excessive heat warning till later tonight. Temperatures will be 15 to 20 degrees above average, so that means mid to upper 90s. Low deserts, that excessive heat warning expires tomorrow night. Temperatures will be anywhere from 100 to 107 for you. Beaches, mid 70s today, low 80s for LA and Orange County Metro, mid 80s for the valleys, low 90s for the Inland Empire, mid 70s for the mountains. Temperatures by next week will begin to warm right back up again as a strong high pressure system resurfaces. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2